What's going on?
Hey everybody,
What's going on?
what was that?
That was don't pay no.
Hey, we're Mike and Wendy. We're in the marriage shop, and we're glad you guys are joining us again for another Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday, everybody. Mike and Wendy again. Mary Shop again. Monday again. It seems the same, but it is very different today.
Yeah,
I'm quite excited.
yeah, you are excited.
Yes.
We're coming off of a rainy weekend here in Evans. Hopefully, you've had some good weather, maybe some good fall colors wherever it is that you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fall colors, and I mean, even though places like here, it seems like we've been going straight from, a couple leaves on the ground to nothing. Boom. That's it. I haven't seen like one pretty tree every now and then, but it's like hot, then boom, cold. That's it. So
Yeah.
anyway, hopefully where you are is beautiful. We got some pictures actually from our daughter in Syracuse today.
Oh, did we?
Yes.
I have not seen these pictures from our daughter in Syracuse today.
They were pretty. So
thanks for sharing.
Yeah. So it's great to see you all again. And as I've been talking, I know there's a lot of stuff we got to talk about, but I'm just, what you heard in the beginning as we were coming on, just a little bit of what we're going to share with you after this new single that we are about to drop.
Yeah, so if you follow our pages, follow us, you probably saw that we shared some things on our stories and on our pages over the weekend. We're really excited about, I guess, the next level in what we're doing here in the marriage shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got a song, right? And we I know some of you are like, what? Yeah, we do, right? So it's a long story, but you kind of want to be in a place where it's not always about not having the rights.
Yeah, so we own the rights to this song.
Yes, we do.
And we're excited about that. We've really been blessed with some really great friends and some really awesome opportunities. And we want to thank you guys. If you participated in our poll over the weekend, you had an opportunity to vote on our cover photo art. And if you chose A, you won. So congratulations. We appreciate you guys doing that.
A little late to the party, but it's okay.
It was close. It was neck and neck. It was like 50-50. Almost.
But the A's did win it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you'll see.
Yeah.
What you've seen, rather.
Yes. And so we're not on our usual feed tonight. So you won't pop up for us to be able to see that you're on. But please make sure that you continue to comment, because we will see your comments. And I'll do my best to reply to your comments as soon as you make them. So keep them coming.
Yeah. And we also want to thank the folks out at Brooklyn Baptist.
Oh, yeah.
In Columbia, South Carolina. Last Tuesday, we mentioned to you all that we were going to be doing an event with them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing a month-long couples event. They're doing a series, and it's about doing marriage God's way.
Yes.
And so we talked about communication, and that was just a great bunch of folks, and we really enjoyed that.
Yeah, you gave us a really warm welcome, and we enjoyed every minute of it. We have another event coming up next week. Well, next couple of weeks, we're going to be in Greenville sharing on communication again with another group of blessed couples. Just excited to be able to do God's work and minister in the way that He's equipped us to do. So we're excited about what's happening with marriages here in Greenville and everywhere.
Yeah, y'all have to excuse us. We're a little bit punchy this evening, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
Long weekend,
Mm-hmm.
long. So, anyway, but tonight, I what I wanted to do is come on here and say, hey, y'all, happy Monday. Roll the song.
No, we can't do that. There are a lot of things to talk about, and thank you guys, Jen, Christina, Jen again, Antoinette, Anna, for giving us some topics to look at in the upcoming weeks, months, years. Everything from being in relationships with narcissists to dealing with loss in a family and how that affects marriage, to coping with and figuring out how to continue to connect after the kids are gone. So Thanks for those great topics you guys gave us. If you think of any topics that we should cover or you want to hear us talk about, make sure you drop them in the comments.
Yeah. And so, We're not going to talk about any of those tonight.
Oh, and I forgot. It was one more, which
What?
I called the pre-trip inspection. And that was the recommendation to do
Oh.
the marriage shop for teens and young adults. So I call that the pre-trip inspection.
That's so funny. But
Yes, I
so
forgot about that one.
do we know who
Jen.
recommended?
Jen. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Thanks for that.
interesting. Thank you for
Yeah,
that. And thank you
yeah.
for the trust that you believing that we even have anything to offer young people. I just wonder what the young people think.
Yeah, well,
So-
we've shared with young people at least twice.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think
true.
we've gotten some pretty good feedback, but you never can tell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. We have got some
Yeah.
decent feedback.
Oh, and
Yeah.
if you guys have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you want to make sure that you do that. We have some exclusive content that's on the YouTube channel that we're not sharing on Facebook. And so we'd love for you guys to check us out on the YouTube channel. Every video that we do live on the Marriage Shop is captured for you on that channel. And we will be sharing our top 10 playlist there.
Uh-huh.
I know. I was going to say here,
Are-
but
are
it's
we-
going to be
Are
there.
we sharing it there?
We are sharing it there
Wow.
on YouTube.
We have top 10?
We do. And
Wow, that's
so
crazy.
so we've gotten a lot of
They're good
feedback
ones.
from you guys that you like the music that we like. And so you know that we love music. It's just part of who we are. And so we just want to share that with you. So we compile that list and we want to be able to share that with you all. So subscribe and like.
Yeah, subscribe and like.
Yes.
And share. I feel like I should say that.
Yeah.
No, does
Because
that
it just
apply
kind of
in
goes
this
along
case?
with it. It does.
Okay.
Sure it does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but tonight,
Yeah.
we got to get into this topic a little bit, right?
Yeah. What are we talking about?
Where we're talking about taking your marriage to the next level.
Okay.
But I think we're approaching it. When you think next level, I mean, it's kind of a common, figure of speech. You hear it a lot. But I think that sometimes we don't necessarily understand not only what level we're on, but certainly how to get to the next one,
Yeah.
right? What does that even mean?
Yeah. Well, when
So-
you say that, though, it makes me think about that song. Y'all know I love music. So that song by Sierra. You know that one. Level up, level up, level up, level up.
Yeah, that's a hit
Level
right
up.
there.
Level up, level
Yeah,
up.
shouts out to Sierra and my man Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Russell Wilson doesn't get any credit on it. It's not Sierra featuring Russell Wilson. It's just Sierra.
So I mean, but Russell, they're if the two are one. They're married. I mean, why? I mean, certainly we can mention Russell, and when you talk about Sierra. I mean, I didn't say the man wrote the song. I mean, it was in the
Yeah.
video or anything.
Okay, good. So
Yes.
thank you to Russell Wilson and Sierra for level up, level up, level up, level up, level up. Anyway, how do you take your marriage to the next level? Is that what you said?
Pretty much.
Okay.
That's what. Yes, taking your marriage to the next level, and so I think sometimes even getting to the next level means that you got to move some barrier obstacle out of the way in order to move to that place as well, right? And so I think part of what we're talking about tonight will cover some of that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So you
So yeah, but as you say that, it sounds like this might be a series. Is this a series?
Hey, who's to say? Okay, come on now. Who? Oh, she's.
I said, is it a series? And my phone responded.
Put that thing away. Anyway,
Yes.
maybe. I mean, I don't. I mean, sure. Why not? At least a 1-part series.
Okay. One person.
We'll
Well, we'll
just run
see.
it back.
We'll see. We might be able to get it all in.
All right. So what?
Okay.
No. You know what? Let's series. Yes,
But we don't know how many parts.
more than one. So let's get into it, though. Let's talk about taking marriage to the next level.
Okay.
Right. And so, for the purposes of this, I mean, we're going to be kind of talking about moving really from inside out, right? Internal, kind of internal personal process to something that's much more external, mutual, collaborative, maybe, if you will. But I think it's important to think about where we begin if we're going to move things to the next level, right? And so, so we four parts, I thought.
Okay. What's part one?
Part one is to own it.
Okay.
Maybe that's a step. Is it a part? Is it a step? I don't know. Own it. That's the first key to go to the next level, whatever, right? So own it. It's first thing, right? Second thing is to stop it.
Okay.
Third thing is to repair it.
Yes.
And the fourth is to grow it.
Grow it.
Right?
Yes. So own it, stop it, repair it, grow it.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, initially we were thinking maybe like put stop first.
Yeah.
But how you stop something you don't own, that you can't own, that you're not even acknowledging, right?
Right.
So own it. It's the first key here, right? And so what are we talking about? Owning is about acknowledgement. It's about accepting that there's something that's going on. And this could be, and hear me out, because sometimes I think we get into marriage and people think it's got to be the big, huge thing that you have to address and maybe that you have to own. So maybe you don't necessarily own that your speech is a little edgy and maybe you're not the nicest or the most respectful person all the time. It could be something like that you need to own. Or it could be maybe that alcohol or substance abuse problem you have. Or maybe it could be that extramarital relationship that you have or that you're thinking about. Right.
And so you said the owning it part is personal, or it is internal.
It's internal.
And so in terms of what you're owning, this is about your own behaviors, your own habits.
Yep.
And so in terms of our habits and behaviors, it's difficult sometimes to even recognize that what may be us, the way that we are, is impacting or has an impact on someone else or on the marriage.
Yeah, exactly. It can be difficult. And that's why owning it is so important, because what will often happen is that we will, instead of owning, we do that other thing, which is blaming. Exactly. Yeah. Right. It's, you're the problem. If you change, if you would only, and not acknowledging that oftentimes it's very much about what we bring to the table and dealing with whatever it is we bring to the table, wherever we brought it. But it's like, it's like all ours.
Yeah. So here, I mean, as it pertains to your marriage, the question would be, where are you falling short, or where is it that, there's something that you're doing or not doing that you need to acknowledge. I mean, because there's one thing to be aware. There's another thing to actually acknowledge, or take ownership of it. And so I think you said own or acknowledge. And because, I kind of said it when I was saying it, but we tend to say, well, this is how I was. This is who I am. You knew this about me. And now you want me to be something different.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because I think it's easy to say, well, this is who you married, right? Because oftentimes it's true. It's like, you knew this. Stepping in, you knew that person had that thing that you saw. Because typically there's the new stuff doesn't emerge. Yeah. You just get more and more of what you've always gotten. And so, then it's like, well, you want me to change? You knew me. Well, it's not the point. The point is sometimes there's things that we do that can be a bit of a problem in our relationship, right? There are things that we do that don't bring us closer together. And if it's not bringing you closer together, it's driving you farther apart. Yeah. Period.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think, when we were talking about this or trying to come up with how we would approach it, one of the things and challenges with owning it was this whole idea of, I know what my issues are, but I don't really need you to remind me. Right. Yeah. So I don't want to keep being reminded about where I'm coming up short or what I'm doing wrong or how I'm the problem.
Well, a lot of people are on that. They would echo that, like, I'm tired of getting beat up. Yeah, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I think there's a couple of reasons why people tend to get beat up over and over again about things. Either they're not owning it, right? It's just like I'm blaming maybe, or maybe I'm just ignoring. I'm not even giving any energy to that whatsoever. But somebody is saying, hey, it's a problem. Wendy is saying to me, problem, Mike. I got an issue with what's happening here, but you're not giving me anything, right? And so what is that person going to do? They're going to keep on nagging, right? They're going to keep on giving it to you, or they're going to shut down, right? So I think that can often be the case, where people just, it's like they don't want to get beat up. right? And so, I mean, my thing is, it's not about getting beat up, though,
Mm-hmm.
is it? I mean, it's about acknowledging, hey, there's kind of an issue here, right? And everybody has something they bring. Everybody has something, that some issue they have, some struggle they have, whatever. Everybody,
Mm-hmm.
you're no different. But sometimes when you don't take that on yourself, people feel like they have to put it on you to make it stick, right? And so, yeah, that can feel bad, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
But
I mean, I guess there's what you own,
hmm
um, that you're bringing or that you do that
hmm
impacts the marriage, and then there is, um, owning that there may be issues in your marriage, right?
sure, okay,
Or acknowledging that there might be issues in your marriage. So a
hmm
lot of people, I mean, it's difficult enough to own and acknowledge my own stuff,
hmm
but a lot of people I struggle with saying that there's a problem in my marriage.
yeah,
And so really being able to um, come to that or face that and acknowledge, and say out loud, hey, things are not as great as they could be, or
hmm
things are not as good as I thought they were. And so when we're talking about people being in,
hmm
or taking your marriage to another level, I
yeah,
think it's also important to look at how two people in the same marriage could be on different levels.
yeah. And I'm just curious, what do you think? Because you were in that place, right? It's like, okay, this is not everything I thought it would, it should be, or you thought it was, or whatever, right? And owning that, what do you think the greatest struggle is with saying, you know what, this marriage might not be everything that we thought.
Well, I mean, different reasons. I think some people are embarrassed by it. I
hmm
think they have an ideal of what they believe marriage is. I think that we often compare where we are with where we think we should be.
hmm
And whether that's where our parents were or our friends are or what we see on social media, it is the perfect marriage or a good marriage looks like this, and we don't look like that.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it.
hmm
I don't know why. What do you think?
No, I mean, I think you're right. There's a lot of comparing going on. There's a lot of, because marriage is such a big thing. There's a lot of shame. There's this feeling of failure a lot of times if it's not going well.
Hmm.
And you're looking around and everybody's just like, yay, marriage and every life is awesome. And you're like, wow, this doesn't feel awesome right now. So now you're feeling like, man, I'm falling down. Something's wrong here. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's
Mm.
us. But there are a few couples that have their own special brand of issue. Everybody got issues, but it's just a matter, you don't see most of what happens behind the scenes. That's part of why we're here in the first place. Is to kind of just shed some light on some of those things,
Oh, I'm
add some
like,
normalcy.
why?
She's-
Yes, to add some normalcy. I mean, it's real marriage, real talk, right? So we
Mhm.
all struggle. I mean, the struggle is real, as they say, and we've experienced different things that have impacted our marriage. So have you. And there are some people who might say, hey, our marriage is good. We don't have any issues. And I think I talked about that a little bit, but
Mhm.
it's not just this idea of your marriage has to be in deep trouble in order for you to do something to take it to the next level. You could be starting out good and trying to get to great, or you could be trying, going from great to perfect. It is just the idea that we are continually working on our marriage, and there are different ways to do that.
Yeah, and that's why we're going to cover kind of wherever you fit on that spectrum. There's a little something for you. I don't want you to get ahead of yourself though, baby. Slow it down. This
Yeah.
is series now. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Okay.
but we're gonna talk about that. And so I said there were two things, in
Mhm.
terms of owning things, right?
Yeah.
That second thing that really I think tends to drive people a little bit, crazy is, well, yeah, you own it, good a good first step, but then there's no change, right? You
Mm.
don't stop whatever that thing is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Well, I was probably thinking about that when I said it. So this idea of, okay, you said this is a thing that I do, and I'm gonna try to do better. I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna make every effort.
Mhm.
I recognize that this thing is causing a problem, right? And then as you try to work on that thing, you're not allowed the grace or the space to continue to work on it, right? It's like you try, and the minute that you mess up or you fall back into your old patterns of behavior, that person is right there saying, you said you weren't going to do that again, or there you are again doing it again. And so there's no opportunity to just kind of heal and grow at the same time.
Yeah. So I think there's a couple of things, because with all this, there's a certain level of grace and forgiveness required of the person who you have actually offended. So, for example, if there's something that I'm trying to own it, I'm trying to stop. Well, whatever that is, it requires that Wendy extend me some level of grace and some level of forgiveness, some level of space, and recognizing that people are people. So that thing that we want changed today, we want change 100%. Well, let's think about the thing that we stopped immediately, the thing that we changed 100%. I don't know if anybody's ever done that, like the first time out, right? Yeah. I mean, sometimes you do because the situation requires it. There's a lot of things that you don't. And so it's important that we give each other some space for the growth to take place. And so there's this fine line between, recognizing that, I recognize this behavior here, and here we go again. And I recognize this looks like something in the past, but there's been some shift here. There's there's a fine line there, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is about for you personally, stopping it. It's about accountability. It's about self-control, right? It's about finding a way to win the moment, if you will.
Yeah.
Right. So meaning, it can be difficult to make life changes in an instant. So sometimes it's not about your whole life. It's not about the next year. It's not about the next month. It's about this moment and winning this moment, making the decision that is best for this moment right here. And then you move to that next moment, that next day.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like you just moved to the next thing, but you didn't bring us along with you. So we went from owning it to stopping it.
You didn't. Everybody, y'all. We just. So
the first
there was
thing,
like a.
Yeah, well, the first thing was to own it, and so just in case you missed it, like I did, the next thing is to stop it.
How did you? You were like right here with me when I said
I was listening.
A lot of times you own it, right? But you don't change. You don't stop. You see that what I did right there? You don't change. You don't stop. I'm sorry. You don't stop it. That's point number 2. Stop it.
So first you own it, and all of the things that we said about that, because I think I had another point, so maybe I was thinking about my other point on the owning it piece.
We covered that in the communication talk, actually.
Yeah. So owning it and then stopping it. So to acknowledge something is actually kind of active, right? It requires action. It requires that you are not just aware of it, or that you that you say that this is something that I'm going to try to work on or try to do. And often what happens is, in that timeline, that other person, and you all have shared this with us, what if there's no evidence that that person is actually working on or has made any movement or growth in the area that they said they would? Like, they say, I'm not going to do that again, but then you don't see that they've actually made a change, or it doesn't look like they're making an effort. And so, when we talk about this being an internal thing, what that means is that there's no external person keeping count or an account. Because if you're sitting on the other side of it saying, well, I'm waiting to see a change, and it's been a week, or it's been a month, or it's been 6 months or a year, then what you're doing is you're spending your energy and your focus on the other person, when you may need to spend a lot of that energy and focus looking internally, looking at your own self and your own growth. As we continue to kind of work through these things, and we continue to work on marriage, I mean, the truth is, within the marriage, the two of you are two individual people who are working towards the same thing. And it sometimes requires that you are clear on what that same thing is. And so when there's a problem where a person has a behavior that is negatively impacting the health of your marriage, that's the thing that we're talking about. Those are some of the things that we're talking about. because it could be something that they do that's just annoying. I mean, because they're annoying doesn't necessarily mean that it's a threat to your marriage.
Right.
But there are some things that could actually be threatening your marriage. And those are the things that we move to point number 2 that you would definitely want to stop.
Yes. And so the key thing I want to make sure y'all remember about owning it is that as long as it's about somebody else, like your behavior is about someone else, you're not owning it. Right?
As long as your behavior is about someone else.
If you're blaming someone about what it is you do, if you're saying, "Hey, I do this because you,"
yeah,
you're not owning it.
That's good. Okay. All right.
Girl, get on over here in the picture. All right. So listen. So anyway, but point 2, well, stop it.
Yes, stop moving my chair.
I was not. I mean, but I'm like, I'm
here.
I'm giving her the signal. Like, I'm giving her the secret. You're not quite in the frame signal, and she's just like,
it's fine. It's fine. So stop it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so, but it's about accountability. It's about self-control. And there's a couple of scriptures that I want to highlight around these ideas, because there's one, like when we talk about self-control. And this is one of these classic ones. If you join a church, a lot of times this will be on the list of scriptures that you memorize. And this deals with temptation. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. And it says that basically, no temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. But God is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability. But with the temptation, he will also provide a way of escape that you might be able to endure it. Mm-hmm. And so when I first saw that, I'm like, I don't know, it was reassuring. And then I thought about, every time there's something that perhaps I should not get into, if I think back historically, there's always been a way provided, a way of escape, by way of a person, by way of time, by way of something. There's always been kind of this door that's cracked open. The problem is that we often don't take the door. It's there, and we find a way to board that bad boy up, not going that way, right? And so I just think that that's really reassuring to me.
Yeah. I mean, there are many assurances in the Bible, and as most of you know, if you join us every week, and if you're joining us for the first time, what we share here is really God's plan for marriage, right? We are not afraid, and we don't shy away from referring to the Bible or biblical principles as it relates to our relationship and the marriage relationship. And there's a reason for that, because what we recognize is that it's difficult to be able to win in this thing, or win against what are sometimes spiritual battles, yes, when you're not equipped. And so a lot of what happens or occurs within a marriage and between us is spiritual warfare. And when we can move to a place where we recognize really what we're up against, then and only then are we equipped to stand up against it. And so it is so helpful to be in the same place. And that kind of starts with not only assessing and getting an idea of where you are, but also determining, and I think I said this, determining where it is that you want to go. Mm-hmm. We shared several videos ago about what is God's purpose for your marriage. And so a lot of people try to figure out what God's purpose is for them, but we challenged you to identify what God's purpose is for your marriage. And in doing that, I think it helps us kind of take a look at where we are and determine where we're going and the best way to get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And so, and because of how we come at this thing, and really from a biblical perspective, I think it's important to understand too the things that we struggle with. There's a reason why a lot of us are struggling more than we have to, is because the battle is a spiritual one, right? And so Ephesians 6:12, chapter 6, verse 12, it speaks to that. It says, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against authorities, against cosmic powers over the present darkness, against spiritual forces of evil in high places." There's a lot happening that we are not equipped to fix on our own. Mm-hmm. And so that's very much a spiritual battle that requires prayer, and it requires connection with each other. It requires that we own things and we can say, hey, you know what, this is a problem and I need help stopping it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And we have been asked by many couples, but where do you go to for help, or how do you work on your marriage? And a lot of what we share every week is, some of those things, some tips, some guidance on how to work on your marriage, how to become closer together or connect in some way that maybe you haven't, right? So we try to offer some of those things in the form of guidance or discussion, but really it's for you to explore, right? It's a conversation that you need to have. And when we talk about taking it to the next level in your marriage, you have to know where you are. We don't know where you are. We're all starting in different places. But maybe that first step for your marriage is for both of you to watch at the same time on Mondays, or for both of you to read scripture together, or for both of you to just spend some time talking about things other than, I think we talked about that, other than kids or work. Maybe that's the first or the next level for you.
Yeah. So that, but I don't want you. Let's not get ahead of the people or ourselves, because I think we're going to touch on a bit more of that in the later part of this series, actually.
Okay.
But what?
No, I'm listening to you.
Oh, okay. And so I think it's important, if we're going to change behavior, if you're going to stop whatever the thing is that becomes a problem, I think it's important to win the moment. Like, as I was saying earlier, like, don't try to fix your whole life. Just fix this next moment, because single moments are what open the door up to everything that can help our marriage or everything that could destroy it. And so it's about just winning the moment. If it's about really getting a hold of your speech, or the way you talk, or the way you look, or if it's about getting a hold of who you're going to call next, or where you're going to go, or what drink you're going to pick up, win the moment.
Yeah. And I often share with people, publicly and personally, about celebrating small wins. I mean, only you can determine what that is, but we don't want to miss an opportunity to give credit where you can. I mean, most of you know that we work together, and it was really difficult for us to just be able to get through a meeting together. I mean, it took years for us to just be able to sit down together and get through a meeting. And when we were able to do that, it really kind of caused both of us to just pause for a second to reflect and acknowledge that we were able to do it. May seem like a simple thing, but it wasn't a simple thing. And sometimes we overlook things that we think are easy things, or things that should have been a given. And we don't take the time to celebrate that we've actually accomplished something together that we weren't able to do before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, if you're just joining us, we're glad that you dropped into the Marriage Shop. And those of you that have been here with us before, we always ask you, if you think this is something that can benefit someone, make sure you tag them, make sure you share this, and start your watch parties. However it is that you want to get the word out, we always appreciate that. And we never take it for granted that we have an opportunity, even if it's for 5 minutes, to be able to share some of what we've gone through with what other couples have shared with us, to be able to help some other couples and marriages. Absolutely.
And so the last little piece I want to say about kind of stopping and changing behavior is accountability.
Okay.
Because often it is very difficult. If you're trying to go through life alone, you probably discovered that it may be the hardest thing you've ever done, right? Because sometimes it helps to have someone who is there, who can see you from the outside and say, you said that you were going this way, but you're going that way. You said you're going to behave in a certain manner, but that's not what I see. You said your words were going to be different, but they're not, right? So there needs to be some accountability, or somebody who says, like, as Wendy is saying, somebody who can be that cheerleader, like, yeah, I see you, you're doing it, but somebody needs to see you. Mm-hmm. That's accountability. And so if we're going to shift in any direction, it helps when somebody knows what's happening with you and has the authority to speak to you into your life about that thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so we shared quite a bit. I'm sure we could probably talk more. There are going to be four areas that we talk about. So we talked about the first two, owning it and stopping it. And I think, I don't know, I'm trying to think, was there any other point to be made about that?
About
Either owning it or stopping it?
Nope, that was my fault. No.
Well, we just want
because I'm trying to get on the song. If I'm being honest, let's go. It's time to play this thing. So
okay. So we're just glad that you guys allowed us to share with you, and we're excited about sharing this song with you. So yes, we did. We are releasing a single, but we are sharing it tonight exclusively for you. So you are among the first people who will ever get to hear the full song or most of the song. We might not play the full song, but to hear the single that we are releasing. And so Mike has been pretty excited about it. He's been talking about it for weeks now, as you know.
It's been like 10 days or something.
Yeah. And so we're excited to share this with you. It will be available for purchase on October the 17th, which is Sweetest Day. So if you're familiar with Sweetest Day, now
what is it?
Yeah, well, now it has become you'd have to Google the history, but it has now become a day when women actually give candy to men to show affection. So it's
wait a minute.
It's not the antithesis to Valentine's Day, but it has evolved and has become a day where you just show some type of random act of sweetness or appreciation to someone by giving them a sweet treat, or it's just another way to spread the love.
Interesting. It sounds like another way to get in trouble to me. It's like, I don't know what happened. Just, but okay, who knew that? I didn't. Okay, cool. So I see now it's interesting. I'm like, the idea. Now I'm like, well, maybe a little bit of candy wouldn't be so bad. Oh, I'm a hypocrite. All right. But anyway, but we want to pray with you first. But we contacted JC in Atlanta, and we wanted something that kind of reflected the mood of this, the thought process even around what we're doing here on Monday. And he just knocked it out of the park. We'll talk more about it later, but I think really knocked it out of the park. So so we want to play that for y'all. We're going to pray first, and then we'll close out with that. So what else you got?
That's it.
Okay. So if y'all would pray with us. Heavenly Father, we just come to you. Just thank you this evening. Thank you for being God. Thank you for all that you do to bless us. Thank you for even this time of sharing and fellowship. We just ask you to bless every couple, every family, every home represented. Be with them in everything that they do and help them to be just a shining example of what marriage looks like your way. So we thank you. We love you. We praise you. And we trust you with everything. We pray these and other blessings in Jesus' name. Amen.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It's your boy JC. I'm in the mood, love, yeah. Lately I've been constantly thinking about you, babe. You drive me crazy, yeah. And girl, I want it. Got me all up in my feelings. Oh, what a feeling, yeah. I knew the first time I laid eyes on you that you would be here forever. I'm not being arrogant, and I still can't take my eyes off you. 'Cause you made me better, so much better. I'm in the mood to love you for a lifetime. I'm in the mood to love you for a lifetime, baby. I love your kindness, I love your confidence. Ooh, you're the finest. So glad you're mine, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't wanna be with nobody else. Give me your love, that's all the wealth I need. Baby, you're precious. priceless to me.